Hi everybody, this is just a re-upload of one of my old videos. Somebody contacted me recently and quite rightly pointed out that in winter conditions this is a climb rather than a scramble, and I just wanted to put a little bit of a warning up because, well, I wouldn't want any of you guys or girls to come up here and have an accident. So here's your warning. There's a little bit of a disclaimer on there as well, and the rest of the video just plays out as it did when I published it 2.5 years ago. So thanks for watching, and keep safe out there. Morning everyone, it's Dan, and it's a Friday. I think it's the 4th of February today, and I'm going to be going up Seniors Gully, Seniors Ridge, onto the summit of Glyder Fawr, and then I'll be coming back down past Devil's Kitchen and then back down to the starting point, which is, if I turn the camera around, just over there by you've got Ogwen Cottage over there, and you've got the Warden Centre down there, and as you can see, we've got plenty of snow, and it's going to be a little bit windy today as well. I think maybe we're talking about 35, 40 mile an hour winds. Anyway, let's not waste any more time and get on, because it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I want to make the most of the day. Well, the view is pretty nice behind me. Just making my way up to Llyn Idwal, which is just over there. So far so good. So I'm at Lake Idwal, which you can see behind me. This gives me an opportunity, hopefully you'll be able to see the route. I can't zoom in on this camera, but that's Glyder Fawr, right up the top, up the back, and this is Idwal Slabs down here. We're gonna go just to the left. You'll see there's a gully just in there. Then we get onto this ridge and go up to the top, and I'll be coming back down the other side. So I've just reached the neck of Lake Idwal, very close to the far end. Idwal Slabs over there. once you get to this neck, what I call the neck, you see there's a huge, great big boulder there. It's kind of a little bit of a waypoint because if you look, that's the main path. We'll be going up this one here, easy to miss. And that takes you up to the start of Senior's Gully. You can probably see that a little bit better now. Literally straight up there, and then onto the ridge and all the way up Llyn Idwal. Now, as you can see from that gully, it's not very deep. It's quite a shallow gully. It's more like a series of steps within the gully. It's really not that difficult. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say this easy. No scramble is easy for everybody, but it's pretty straightforward. And the ridge itself is quite broad, if you can see up the top. It's not like Cribgoch or anything like that where it's really steep. It's quite a broad ridge, fairly straightforward up there, hence why they call it Senior's Ridge and Senior's Gully. And got some lovely views into Devil's Kitchen. Anyway, let's get on, less talking, less panning the camera around, taking beautiful photographs. I'm not here for that. We're here to get a scramble knocked out today before the weather turns, so let's just crack on. Now, that's where I've come so far, just from the neck of the lake. Made my way up and see the gully now, literally going up there and then behind onto Senior's Ridge. Right, well, this shows you what you're up against if you decide to come up here. So it's quite broad. It's not a very deep gully, it's very broad, more like a series of steps going up. As you can see, it's holding quite a bit of water. Obviously, there are quite a lot of sleet and snow overnight in the last few days. Probably not the best route for the winter. There's a lot of choice in Snowdonia for gullies to go up, and they're not all as wet as this one. But as you can see, loads and loads of footholds going up, lots and lots of choice. It doesn't look like there's any really difficult sections up there. And when I've done this route in the summer, I've got to say I found it quite easy. So obviously winter, different story, but as you can see, that's Senior's Gully. And just so you can get your bearings, Llyn Idwal, you've got the neck here, quite an obvious neck in the lake, and I've come up the side up here over the stream and made my way up to the foot of Senior's Gully. So far the terrain has been pretty shallow, but wet, lots of grass on there, lots of mud. I've got my scrambling boots on, which are great for going up rocks, not so good for going up wet grass. So a little bit slippy on the way up, but nothing too bad. Well, that's about as difficult as it gets. Not too steep, nice and broad, loads and loads of steps to choose from on the way up. I'm about a third of the way up. Pretty straightforward really, series of steps leading all the way up. Really not that difficult at all. Well, I haven't found it difficult. This is probably the steepest bit so far, and there's plenty of steps up there. There's a few loose rocks here and there, bits of mud and slime, but really it's not technically difficult at all. I mean, if it was dry, I'd probably run up there. There you go. Really wasn't that difficult at all. You look around, looking nice and snowy now. So when you get to the top of Senior's Gully, you want to throw a right, make your way up here and onto the ridge, and that's quite a broad ridge. It broadens out near the top, and that'll take you up to the summit at Glyder Fawr. I'd say I'm probably halfway there now if you look behind me, and that really didn't take long at all, even in the snow. Right, I don't know how well you can hear this because of the wind coming up the gully. That's Senior's Gully, and you come up here, you can see the footprints. Then you snake round here and then up this way, so you literally come back upon yourself. What you don't want to do is go too far that way. You'll end up on the top of Idwal Slabs. It's probably not the safest place to be, and you don't want to go into that, I don't know what this area is called in here, this little valley in there. And this is pretty much the terrain. So when you come up that gully, throw a right and just snake round. Not too difficult, obviously in the snow and the ice it's a little bit more dangerous, but I think in the summer I don't recall that being particularly difficult at all. It's a little bit, obviously a little bit slippery today, hence the axe. Oh. Probably make out my footprints just down there where I snaked around. Just basically don't go too far that way. And now onto the ridge proper again. You can see it's not particularly a sharp ridge, it's not like ReUpload, it's quite flat, quite broad in places. A typical grade 1 scramble really. Excuse the sunglasses. Just got hit by a hailstorm. Well, we've got a break in the cloud. And you can get your bearings now. I'm right up on the top of Idwal Slabs. There's Lake Idwal and the neck that I mentioned earlier, the gully in there. And it's getting really icy now. So I'm going to bite the bullet and put my crampons on. Started slipping in a few places. See you in a bit. It's about half an hour since I came out of Seniors Gully and onto the ridge. I've stopped a couple of times to take photographs and so forth. I think I'm probably about halfway up, maybe not quite halfway, and this gives you an idea of the terrain. Obviously a little bit more interesting with the snow today. Definitely a few sort of scrambly sections in there, but nothing outrageously steep. And that's still to go. As you get near the top, it starts to broaden out a little bit more, and you can kind of pick your own route up to Glyder Fawr. But at the moment, I'm just slightly to the left of the main ridge, but most of the way up, I've stayed pretty much on the ridge line. Maybe a couple of sections I've really had to sort of use my hands to pull myself up, but mostly it's just strenuous hiking, really. Obviously with the snow and the ice, makes it a little bit slower going. Definitely crampons and axe. If you do come up here in this sort of weather, I wouldn't even dream of coming up here without at least taking the crampons with me. Don't always put them on, but it's always handy to have them in the bag just in case. I mean, some people might want to go up that without crampons, but not me. Well, I'm on the final third on Seniors Ridge, and it's just starting to level out, as you'll see in a moment. It's been a really nice little scramble, very enjoyable. That's most of the ridge done. Just onto the flat broad area now. You can see, nice wide area, really broadens out near the top. Pretty much a case of whichever way you want to go, all routes are going to lead to the top from here. That was the ridge down there. And there we go, pretty much at the top. Bit of a moonscape today. See why navigation could be a little bit of a problem up here if you don't know where you're going. I mean, it's pretty easy to get lost in that if you haven't got a map or a compass, or you don't know how to use it, or you've never been up here before. Pretty much whiteout, not far off whiteout conditions. frozen solid. Hi there. Yeah, lovely. Beautiful day for it, eh?
One day only, mate.
I know. But I managed to make it down that scree slope in one piece, just about. Lots of loose rocks on there. I was hoping that the ice would hold them together, but I think that was wishful thinking. It was pretty slippery all the way down, but all good fun. A few people going up, and I'm on my way back down to Lake Idwal. I'm going to be going around just past Devil's Kitchen, and that's it. I'll make my way back to the car. So. Right, that's me all done. Back to the car. What a lovely day that was. I set off at 8 o'clock. It's now 2:30, so I really took my time coming back down because it was really snowy and icy. I really hope that you've enjoyed the footage. That was Seniors Gully, and then leading on to Seniors Ridge, up onto Glyder Fawr, and then back down to Lake Idwal, and then back to the car. So really enjoyable day, really enjoyed that. You know, what are my thoughts on that route? I think in the summer, when that gully's dry, I think that's a really nice sort of introduction to scrambling. The ridge itself isn't too difficult. I mean, there's a couple of steep sections on there, but it's pretty typical of a grade 1 scramble. But I do think in the winter, definitely with the ice, especially in that gully, a little bit slippery. And obviously navigation, as you saw on the top, coming down off of Glyder Fawr, you know, that is quite easy to get lost up there if you don't know where you're going. I mean, I've come down that route maybe a dozen times, and even I have to be a little bit careful not to come off track. So I could imagine a few people coming down off of Glyder Fawr would get themselves into a little bit of trouble. So definitely map reading skills, map compass, or if you're not sure, go up in the summer, go early, go on a busy day when there's going to be lots of people up there a weekend, something like that. Familiarise yourself with the area. As you saw from that footage, it was absolutely blowing a gale, couldn't really see very far, and it was a bit of a moonscape up there. So for me, it was great fun. I'm not sure if that's something you'd like to do, but at least you've got an idea now of what that route looks like going up and coming back down. So I hope you've enjoyed the footage. Don't forget to hit like, hit the subscribe button. The more subscribers I get, the more prominently YouTube will show my videos, which is obviously a good thing. And I will see you soon, and on to the next adventure, hopefully in a week or two. So thank you, thanks for watching, and see you around.